Alright Nathan, what are we doing today and why are there so many single overhead cams in my shed today?
We've got 2 single overhead cams to build. One is for my car and then one is for the Cortina as well.
And then what's that one at the back there?
Oh, that's the XE's old engine. It's got to pull a couple things off this engine to put it onto this engine. Anyways, there's a few things we need off that to put onto this engine because the goal is to have this engine complete tonight and then we're swinging this engine in tomorrow. So we have a lot to do tonight, because it's this afternoon. And as well as build that one too.
Yeah, so today we're not only building one built bottom end single overhead cam, we are building two built bottom end single overhead cams.
So, yeah.
It's going to be a big day. For those that don't know what these are 2 engines that have been built by our good mate Anthony, Horsepower Junkie, otherwise works at Footscray Engine Reconditioners. I was actually there this morning because I was going to look at getting my little 253 built. So I've just come from there. And these came from there and they got a hell of an upgrade compared to a standard AU. So they've had rods and pistons put through them, they have spool pistons in them. We don't know what the rods are actually, we'll have to check what the rods are. And
Balanced,
there's also
blueprinted, everything really actually, we might as well just rip this off.
Yeah, they've had the works. And we have 2 heads over there as well too, which have been...
Yes, the heads have had some slight polishing, porting and polishing as well. There should be some stout bottom ends to handle a bit more boost.
Are you seeing Grout?
Holy shit, he's grout filled him. What a cheeky bugger. He has too.
How much?
Wow, there you go.
So that's another thing that's been done to these engines. They have been grout filled.
Okay. That's interesting. That is very interesting. I thought it looked a bit weird, you know?
So for those wondering what grout filling is when it comes to an engine, and this is our very limited knowledge on what grout filling is, because we're not engine builders by any means. What grout filling does is you basically fill up some of the water gallery in the engine with grout, as you can see there. And the idea is what you're trying to do is put strength into the block. So by filling up those water galleries, which take a lot of strength out of the block because you're taking a lot of the mass away, it puts that mass back in. Now, it's done in a sort of precise and scientific way where it shouldn't affect cooling. Anthony has considered that when he's filled these with grout. But it's really common in like the drag racing world and high RPM sort of stuff because another thing that grout filling does is it actually absorbs the natural harmonic vibrations that an engine makes, so it just keeps it all together, makes it much more rigid and much stronger. So you effectively end up with a stronger bottom end. Now, there are some drag cars out there that run complete grout filled blocks, like grout filled barrows are a pretty common thing. They run no cooling at all, but they're only designed just to go down the strip, that's it.
Well, they're cooled by fuel.
Yeah, they're cooled by the fuel or methanol.
Yeah. Oh.
In our case, this will be probably, I don't know what this is, but it's probably a half grout filled block. So it still has cooling in it and should be sufficient, we hope. So we'll find out how this goes on the dyno, I suppose.
Torch.
But yeah, we weren't expecting that. So we'll shine that in there, which it's really hard to show you guys, but in there, you can see that white, that's grout. So it's filled to about, probably to the Welsh plugs. And while you're admiring your built bottom end, another thing that we should probably address is why an AU engine and why aren't we sticking with an EF engine like we had originally?
So we've switched to an AU engine purely because you've got a cast aluminium sump, you have a girdle, like a factory girdle as well. You have effectively a 4-bolt main cap as well because you have 2 bolts that go through the side of your sump. I'd hardly call it like a 4-bolt main cap because it's only an aluminium sump, but it's still another bolt holding your cap on.
Yeah, exactly right. It's still some sort of duty.
A couple more sensors on the engines as well. If you're going to build an engine, you build an AU engine purely because a little bit more developed than an EF or an EL bottom end. That is why I went an AU, was purely because of timing case, sump, and main cap style.
Yeah.
So that was it. Right, let's get the book out, see what to do first.
Let's get the old Haynes manual out. Okay, so to build these engines, just like the first time when we built that engine, we're going to be referring back to our trusty old workshop manual. We thought last time we used a Haynes one, but I don't reckon we did. This is a Max Allery's. You may notice that it's an EF to EL. We don't have an AU one. We didn't have enough forethought to order one in advance. We're just hoping that it's pretty much the same, because realistically they are pretty much the same engines, except for a few minor differences. Anyway, where do we start? I don't know where to start. Do you want to put the heads on first, or do you want to do the oil pumps first?
I feel like we should put the head on and do the timing and then flip it over, do sump oil pump.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
which one? Who's doing what?
Well, I'll work on mine.
I'll do yours. You do that.
No.
I'm not being responsible for your dad's.
No. What we have here are some MLSR head gaskets. This was the one that Ants wanted us to run, so this is what we run. This is a decomp gasket. We got these off Tiperformance, where you can get yours as well.
Pretty much everything that you see us install today has come from Tiperformance. So if you need anything to rebuild a single overhead cam, or even your 253 or your LS, head on over, buy it all there. That's where we get ours from.
Exactly right. We also got all our studs and everything from TI as well. Head studs. So we use these rather than a head bolt. You can pull these down a lot harder, squishes the gasket a lot better.
Alright, so this is one of our heads. This is your head, I believe.
This is my head. So you can see he's polished up in there. It's a lot smoother, but I can also see he's done the intake valves, the intake ports, and I'm guessing he's done the exhaust ports. I'm not going to flip it over. We'll show you when it's on.
Now, sticking with tradition, we decided to stay with our Stage 4 Crow cam, along with double row valve springs and adjustable timing gear from Crow cams. You can get all this from Tiperformance. For all the cam nerds out there that know what they're looking at, which is not us, this is the cam spec, so if you want to look at your own, this is what we used. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the rocker assembly off, so that way that it's going to close all the valves, so that means we can sit the heads on without having to worry about any pistons making contact with any valves. Okay. So what we're going to try to do now is we're going to find our top dead center, which is, like you said, where it stalls out, which is just about there. So I'm guessing it's there. Alright, so we have our engine at top dead center, which means we're now ready to put our head on. Alright, let's go. Trap on nice, don't they?
Yeah, don't they?
Like they locate.
It's like they locate with a dowel.
I know, it's amazing. I like the black, black. Just gotta throw out the nuggets, that'll be right. Let's find out how we talk these things.
The pattern.
Yeah.
Just squiggle it out.
What'd you call it? Squiggle squoggle?
Yeah.
It doesn't say that in the book, squiggle squoggle.
Sure?
No. Okay, so we got to get to 80 foot-pound, but we're going to do it in three equal steps. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 30, 60, 80, and we have to follow the
sequence. Alright, which one's first, boss?
Oh no! No! Ross, I put grease right over the numbers. All of a sudden it's really sketchy. Alright, they are all torqued down. So now we're probably going to move on to...
Slip the auxiliary shafts in.
Yeah, this stuff here.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's pretty easy. Probably grease it up some green. Yeah, we don't need that either. This little guy. Alright.
Right, we are at the stage now where, well, we think we're at the stage of throwing in the timing chain. So we're using a Crow double row timing chain with an adjustable gear set on it. My hands are oily. They go on a certain way?
Yeah, there's a dot. I don't know what way though.
No, the dot will be on the way out because that's the marking time.
Yeah, that's what I did on this.
Yeah, has to be on the way out. I wait till he does his first, and if he stuff it up, I don't do. In case we haven't said this in this episode, do not follow how we put together engines.
Yeah.
We do not know what we're doing, and we're not mechanics. In case you haven't already figured that out. Alright, so that needs to go. You need to put the guide in first to set the chain in. Oh, we're doing great.
I think we should rotate the camshafts to where they need to be before we put anything else on.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to turn that over, yeah?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we just eyeballed 3 degrees above the head last time.
Yeah. It's like an assembly line.
With 2 dowels.
What I need to do now is I need to assemble the timing chain tensioner. This is a hydraulic timing chain tensioner. It's exploded at the minute and I got to figure out how it goes back together. Now, I looked at a few pictures and unfortunately this book that we got is honestly really not that great. The one that we used the first time we did this build was a Haynes and it was so detailed that even us 5 years ago managed to put the engine together with no issues. This time we keep coming into issues because, well, we're finding the book really isn't detailed enough. Maybe it's made for someone who actually knows what they're doing rather than us. But anyways, there's no exploded diagram. I know in the Haynes one they have one because I've seen it a million times. So I'm going off memory, but I think I've got it to work. This pushes against the timing guide itself. Then this little jigger goes in the top like that. Oh, other way around. Like that. Put spring on, spring goes in here, like that, and then this guy gets pushed into here, and then you lock it off, like that. That's locked off. Now I can put that into the timing cover, which Nathan is finishing up assembling now, put this behind it, unlock it, release it, that'll sit against there so it doesn't come out, and then this guy goes on, the cap. So, should be okay. I think we figured it out, finally. So hit them with some thread seal and we should be golden. This is the tool that we made years and years ago when we were doing the original Fairlanes engine. So these things have a special tool to lock them in place and they have 2 dowel pins to drop in. We welded this up, obviously before we were better welders. That sits in there like that. A spanner and I can do this up nice and tight. Lovely. Alright, well, I think we're going to call it there. I think we're spent. We don't want to keep working if we're not at our brightest. So we're going to stop, come back with fresh heads tomorrow and fresh eyes and try again.
Yeah.
So see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Alright Nathan, it's a new day. We've come back with clearer heads, fresher minds. Have you got your engine building shoes on today?
Yeah, I do. straight back into it. What we're going to do is rotate these puppies over, get some oil pumps in, get some pickup tubes on, get some sumps on, and then we can finally get to put that engine aside and get to this one, fiddling with putting the intake and exhaust manifold on and get it buttoned up.
The good news is though,
I found the book.
we found our Haynes manual. This is the one that built that original engine over there, and we find it to be a far better, look, see, that's what I needed. Right there is what I needed yesterday, and I couldn't find a picture of it anywhere, but the Haynes manual has it. This is a far better book, I find, than the Mallory over there, unfortunately.
Oh, there.
Yep, see, and it has pictures the whole way through of all the timing guides and everything that we need to know. This is a good book. I wish we had this yesterday. Anyways, let's flip some engines. Let's flip at the best, man.
Yeah, let's flip at the... No, we're not starting with that today.
Nervous about this falling off.
That's why I want to put the rock cover on it. Ready?
Yep. What, you reckon the rock cover would save it from damage? Just crush like a tin can. Why did it stop so solid just then? Why does it stop? It's getting, oh, it's probably getting...
Oh, well, looks like I'm moving on.
That's as far as we're going. So this is the stock girdle that AUs come with that we talked about. It's not huge, but it does make a big difference. Oh, there goes the shaft.
Watch the shaft.
You may notice that we're not running a lower timing guide. That's because one, the timing guide that we got didn't fit this timing case for whatever reason. And two, they always break and fall out anyway, so we're just going to continue that tradition and not run one.
Yep. Alright, so I've just gone ahead and done it just to make sure it works. That's pretty much all it asks for, is to just submerge and run. It's crazy how that is what keeps your engine alive, hey?
The biggest thing is, can we get the shaft to locate?
Alright, that's that. What we're going to do is rotate the engine over so we just make sure we have good clearance on everything. I think we're ready to put the sump on.
Yeah, a little something. It says nice and can. It's probably going to be loose. Do it? Sure. I'm amazed at how little effort it takes to
I said the same thing when I was doing it.
prime it.
There we go. Sweet! Now just going to make a giant Moroso sticker.
So for those wondering, by the way, what this big cutout here is in the sump, that's because the Cortina, this needs to clear the, is it the sway bar and steering rack?
Yeah.
Okay, well that is a wrap for the Cortina engine. It is pretty much as far as we're going to take it because there's not much point putting anything else on it. So what the plan from here is we're going to do a quick cleanup of the shed and try and pack up a lot of the junk that we have sitting around because it is really unorganized at the minute. We need to sort of gather our thoughts again and reorganize. And then we're going to basically just start putting all the accessories onto this thing, all the accessory drives, put the sensors onto it, mount the turbo, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, go from there basically. So let's get into it.
Alright, well, I was just talking to the camera, telling you everything that I was doing for no reason because it wasn't recording. So I've got a head start kit off eBay, titanium ones, put them in, and now we've got the exhaust manifold on. What a idiot. Skadoosh. Oh, take that dipstick out.
A little bit of good old Vaseline on the seals of these things to stop you from pinching an O-ring and destroying it, and then leading to fuel leaks, which are not good, especially when you pressurize. That's how you catch fire.
Alright, so I've got the exhaust manifold on now. Raceworks have come out with a new product. They've got these push lock fittings for boost lines, reference lines, stuff like that. So out with a push lock and like a dirty silicone hose. Look, these are amazing. Yeah, we swear by a push lock.
Yeah, they don't come off, and that's the issue.
But they don't come off.
Yeah, when you need to do stuff like we've done here, where we pull the exhaust manifold off, you got to cut it. Whereas this,
easy as that. I can reef on this, and it's not coming out. But if I want it to come out, I just push that in. Boom.
And it comes out, which means like unlike silicone hose and stuff like that, you don't need to cut it off the barb, shorten it, and every time you blow a turbo or change your exhaust manifold, your hose gets slightly shorter every time. You can reuse this stuff over and over again.
Yeah, look at how neat that is, and it's removable. So I'm just putting the fitting in there, and I'm going to put a 90-degree fitting, and these swivel too. So if you do this up, you can move this around. So I'm going to put a 90 into the wastegate there, and then we should be golden.
It looks good. Alright, so we're going to put our crank pulley on now. So one of the last times that we tried to slip one of these on, we made an absolute mess of it. And we used the original bolt to try and pull it in, and we ended up stripping the crankshaft out. So now, after all these years, we're going to fix the fact that we had a stripped out crankshaft by doing it right. And by doing it right, what we mean is there's actually a tool for this. And I highly recommend that you get said tool if you're going to be doing this. Because it is not fun having to try and fix a stripped out crankshaft, is it, Nathan?
Nope.
Now, this tool makes this job a hell of a lot easier. I can assure you of that.
Lovely.
Woo! Now what we're basically up to is I need to start to do some wiring. Now, as much as this is a very similar engine to the EL engine, the AU has a few little differences, and one of those differences is it uses a couple of different sensors. Where it has a cam sensor, the cam sensor is located up here in the front of the timing case. On the EF, and EF alone, it has a cam sensor in here, and I think early AUs also have them as well too, which is what this plug is for. So I need to basically extend this to go into this jigger here. That shouldn't be too difficult. The only other real differences that we have on this engine is the coolant temp sensor. Coolant temp sensor in the EF, in the thermostat housing, the same as this one is here, although in this case we use an ED, because ED has two outlets, and we use one for our turbo feed and one for our coolant temp sensor. AUs have this sensor, which lives around in the back of the head here. Now, we could leave the coolant temp sensor to pick up from a thermostat housing here as we already have it. It's no reason why we can't. However, I am going to change the wiring to run to the back. When we were building this many years ago and we put the temp sensor up here, we made a little bit of an error. And it wasn't until we were at the bend at last DC, or the time before, with the Fairlane, when I got Nathan his 10 by doing my little tuning, we realized, and I'll admit Nathan realized, what was actually happening was the engine was thinking it was cooking itself by the time it got to the end of the straight. At the very end of the straight, it would cut power because the temperature would spike to about 120 degrees. So safeties would kick in and it would kill power, and Nathan would go across the line pretty much coasting. Good, but what was happening was the minute that Nathan turned around the corner going down the return road, engine would go back to 100 degrees, everything's happy, everything's good, full power again. This turbo is water cooled, so water's coming into the turbo, then coming out of here through the return and going back into the thermostat housing here, right next to our temperature sensor. So this super hot water coming out of the turbo was coming in, going to that there, tricking that sensor into thinking that the whole engine is 120 degrees instead of just this little area here, and it would go cool as soon as the turbo stopped working as hard as it was on the straight, and it would go back to normal. So what we did is we ended up turning the safeties off, and we just knew that when it reached 120 degrees at the end of the track, didn't really matter because it was going to calm down. Now what I want to do is I want to put it into the sensor at the back, because if I do that, it's going to alleviate that issue and we would no longer have to worry about that, because that can also change your tuning as well too. So as the temperature of the engine's getting hotter, it can also detune the engine. That's a harder thing to deal with and detune. So we'll move to here, that way we don't have to worry about that anymore. Now, luckily for us, Tiperformance has the full range of sensors that you need for whether it be your single over cam or your LS over there, so we managed to get this from them. Screw that straight in and get a temp sensor, and the best thing is they also sell the plugs as well too, so you can adjust or modify your wiring to suit the right sensor and all that. These things can be tricky to get to, Tiperformance make it really easy. What to do is cut that plug and put it into here basically, and now we have a cam sensor wired up and ready to go. I'm probably, if you give me another half hour, and then I'll be ready to go.
All right. We've gone to put the rock cover on, and we've realized that it doesn't fit because the studs stick up a lot further than they did on that. So they're actually hitting this ribbing, and they're touching there, They're touching there. So what I'm going to do, this isn't the one I'm running. I just need this to seal the engine up and to, well, put the engine in because I don't want to scratch the living crap out of the one I just got painted. So I'm going to throw this one on. I'm just going to clearance all of this. That way I know how much I've got to cut into my new one. So I'm just going to honestly just go to town with an angle grinder.
So as you can see, that's the issue there. It's sitting way too high because, like Nate said, those little uprights, whatever they are touching the studs.
So, bit of a pain in the ass, but we'll get it done.
It's like pulling a tooth.
Still very solid.
Alright Nathan, what's the plan?
Alright, we're going to swing the engine in and just get that done today. So then the next time we're working on it, slip the trans in, plug some shit in,
Yep.
fill it up with coolant and turn the thing over. So we'll get the bonnet off and we'll slug it in.
Alright Nathan, we've leveled the engine.
We think we have. Right now it's completely tight on one side, so what we're going to do is drop it and see what it does. Oh,
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Level. That looks way better with the alloy sump. So the tin sump, we were a lot closer to this cross member than this is. This is swimming's amount of room. You can not just a finger in there, you can get a whole knuckle in there. Alright, you happy?
Yeah, I finally have a fast car again.
Well, it's not running yet. We put it together, so
Yeah, sometimes I kind of think, man, why didn't I just get ants to do the whole lot?
Got to finish today with fitting up our new Raceworks product.
Done.
It does look neat, doesn't it?
That is our boost line, boost reference line sorted. Looks so much better. Looks like a proper fitting now. Not a fat silicone hose that the dust and the dirt sticks to it. I just said to Michael, like, we don't know what it's like around heat. Obviously, it's going to be right next to our exhaust manifold, so kind of want to just leave it exposed. Let's see what it does. Do a bit of testing on it. We'll see how bad it gets heat affected, if it melts or whatever. But other than that, I'm happy with that. But anyway, this is the new stuff. Sick.
So that's it for this episode, and that is it for building 2 built single overhead cam 4.0s.
Yeah, we didn't build them. We just put them together.
We assembled them, yes.
There was a big 2 days, but the engine is now in. The engine is pretty much complete. Well, Michael's going to do some wiring on it over the weekend, and then we'll come back to it next week, slip the auto back in, hopefully smooth sailing from there, and then look at getting this thing running and down to Jake's and turn up the boost.
But if you've liked this episode and you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing, and head over to the website if you want to buy some merch. That really goes a long way to helping us pay for our fuel bill for Dry Challenge. Yeah, I don't know if we got a word of the day. Oh, the word of the day was that squibooga or whatever it was. The squig.
Oh, I don't even know that.
The squiggle woggle thing. Squiggle woggle. Squiggle woggle.
Was that what I said?
Squiggle woggle? Yeah, whatever.
What was squiggle woggling though?
It was
the pattern.
The pattern on the head.
The pattern of doing it up.
If anyone can remember what we said, put that in the comments below. I'll pick 2 random and send out a Hackshop Garage ticket pack. So aside from that, we still have heaps to do on the Tirana before its deadline. So there's still heaps, and even then, we still need to look at the VY and get that ready for DC as well too, because we haven't even looked at that car. We're just hoping that it is still okay. But every now and again, Daniel tells me, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's got a weird noise lately." Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you in next episode, and we're
Dynoing it
a little bit further with this thing, and yeah, getting ready for DC, because it's very, very close. See you then. Also, I really want to say a massive thank you and shout out to Tiperformance for getting all the parts that we needed for this build in record time. I reckon in 1 week I sent about 3 orders in as many days, and just kept adding to the list. And oh, I forgot this, I forgot that. Stuff that they don't even stock, and they went out and sourced it for us to get it here and to make sure that this build does get to DC. So a big thank you to Tiperformance. Show them love in the comments and head on over to the website and get all your stuff for your builds at Tiperformance, because you can get pretty much everything you need from the website. So thanks, guys. All right, Nathan, what are we doing today, and why are there so many single overhead cams in my engine? Damn it! So Nathan's been doing a lot of setting up this morning. As you can see, he's got all the engines here ready to go on the operating table, and he has all the pieces that we need to put in sort of laid out as well too. I love how he's laid out the Ford toolkit for a rebuild. We got.
Oh, I haven't got everything.
We got the 10, we got the 13, we got another 10, and a rattle gun and a hammer.
I haven't got everything out yet, but that was just what I was using. Yeah, okay. Just poured a bit of concrete down there.
It's the Maltesers, mate, and it's the Wogs. They love them. They love that concrete.
It's a little bit of concrete.
Can you just take a minute for a second? Once upon a time, we built an entire channel around building this engine, and now we're building not one but two built by men AUs. We did it, Mum. Place head guard. Tighten head bolts for the following sequence, otherwise known as squiggle squoggle.
Come on, boys. Hey, you doing squiggle squoggle?
Squiggle squoggle. Don't forget to use your squiggle squoggle. This is dangerous.
That's whiskey. Very whiskey. Very whiskey.
Find the torque specs in our Haynes manual.
Yeah, I can agree. The Haynes shits all over the Mallory.
Yeah. I wonder whether the Mallory though is made more for actual tradies, like actual mechanics, because it just says like install this.
I don't know.
Like you should know what you're doing, whereas the Haynes is more like install like this, dummy.
Yeah.
Put this bolt there, and that's what we need.
Maybe.
The Mallory has a sense of prior knowledge assumed.
Or is
What's everyone else's opinion? Are you a Mallory or are you a Haynes man? So we've been keeping a secret from you guys. This is actually what we're doing. That looks sick. Look at that. Why can't you be cool like that?
I want to do a 9, not a 19.
No, I was literally thinking, is it Australia's greatest car? And I have to admit, I probably see more AUs on the road than I do see VTs. Still. But it's probably because a lot of VTs ended up into trees, or gutters, or power poles.
Or Melton. No.
Yeah, Melton is the place where VT's going to die. Yeah, that's true. You can't go more than 4 streets without seeing a VT somewhere. We're going to start a rebellion. I sent out flyers, but the only person that rocked up was my mum and my mum's boyfriend.
There's nothing more Aussie than eating a pie while building the AU Falcon. Doesn't matter if these were invented in New Zealand, because they got the AU Falcon too.